Hi everyone, this is yours truly, Lady Emmanuel, back with part two for stretching and remember I don't say this word, I say compression. I struggle with SHR words, the quadratic parent function. Now in part one, we did number one, A, B, and we completed all of this, okay? What I want you to notice is compare the 2x squared, what happened to the graph, to the 1/2 x squared. You really need to pay attention to that. That's really helpful. Oh, and number three is asking you to compare and contrast that. Really look for that information. Now, I'm not going to do this for you because I know you can. I'm not going to graph it for you. But I will do this part, just some of it. I'm not going to say all of it. Remember with the parent function, you can pull that from the other problems. You know this is going to be 4, 1, because you're squaring all these numbers 0, 1, 4. Okay, now since this, keep in mind, this is x squared, this is half of x squared. Okay, it's telling you to take half of this information here. Okay, so you already used the x value to get this y value here. So to get the y value for h of x, then you could take half, okay, of it, since it includes that parent function. So you're saying half of 4 is, what's half of 4? 2. Very good. Okay. What's half of 0? They be like, 0, huh? That don't make sense. Half of nothing is nothing, everybody. It's 0. So you do the other part. It's okay to have decimal. It's okay to have fractions. That's your answer. Once you get that information, then in part A, you're going to graph. It said the graph of the parent function is here already for you. Oh, I like how they wrote this right here. I really like how they put this equation there, so you can know that this function is f of x equals x squared, which is the parent function. Let me highlight that. Okay, so that's that. So here is the graph h of x equals 1/2 x squared on the same coordinate grid. So you graph that on this grid and you compare it. Okay. After you've done that, it's identify the vertex, domain, range, and axis symmetry for each function. Remember the parent function, you had that information on other problems, on previous problems we've done. So just get that information. You should have memorized by now. Okay, what's the vertex here? Good. Where's the axis symmetry? All right, that's it right here. It's the line of symmetry. You can fold on half. It's vertical. We know that if it's a vertical line, it's going to be x equals. Awesome. Okay. Then number 3 tells you, hey, compare the function g of x and h of x in items 1 and 2. So you go to item 1, you say, okay, g of x. Here is the domain and range for g of x. Let me go ahead and graph this, or look at the graph, or put it on a graph. You can make your own graph there, and you can graph g of x and h of x on the same graph so you can see what's going on. Okay. And that will help you to describe any patterns you notice in the graph at least. But you're going to tell, okay, the equations. What do you know about the two equations? Then you're going to tell what do you know about the tables. So you look at the tables, the domain and range for it. Okay. You look at the graphs. You look at the vertex, domain, range, and you tell what you're observing. What do you notice? Read this. I'm not going to read that for you. Read the information. Most of you, if you just only read and annotate so that you can understand what it's asking you of. Okay. And you continue on and you just read through the items and answer it. Okay. And let me do this one. Would this look fun? It's a vertical stretch by a factor of 5. It said write the equation for each transformation of the graph of f of x equals x squared. So I know that the equation for this right here, I'm going to make up a letter. I'm going to put m of x equals, and it told me a factor. That means I'm multiplying. A vertical stretch by a factor of 5. So that means 5x squared. Bam! I got it. Okay. So you do number 10. Okay. You be like, where did you get from? I just made it up. Because I noticed this. I said, wait, they use G there, they use H there. Ooh, that's f of x. So I'm not going to say f of x equals 5x squared when they say f of x equals x squared in this scenario. Some use another letter. You can use K. Okay. It's your prerogative. Do what you want to do. Okay, number E, the rest of 11, guys, here, It said the graph of g of x is a vertical stretch of the graph of f of x equals x squared by a factor of 7. It said factor. So if it's a factor, I know I am multiplying the x squared by something. Which of the following equation describes g of x? I know I'm multiplying x squared by something. This and that something has to do with that 7. Okay? If you look here, it's no 7 with the x squared. And they adding the 7, really? They're not multiplying, so that means 7 is not a factor in this case, so I'm not going to use that. Hello? Here, they're going to try to trick me, and they're going to say x plus 7 squared. So you know what? I go to the side, and I say, okay, let me see, x plus 7. Okay. I say x plus 7. And they said squared, so that means that I'm saying x plus 7 times x plus 7. And I say x times x, that's x squared. Hold up. Wait, then I got x times 7, that's plus 7x, but it's no 7 with the x squared. And they said f of x squared, f of x equals x squared by a factor. It said a vertical stretch of the graph of f of x equals x squared by a factor of 7. It's no 7 being multiplied with that. So I don't have to continue. I could, but I don't have to. So they're not going to trick me, so I know it can't be C. Here is a 7 involved that's being multiplied. It's a 7 in here, but the position has something to do with it. Okay. So I know it's going to be between B and D. So you have to think about those things. So you make sure you read the information, guys. Read and use your knowledge, okay? So that right there is going to be the end of the lovely stretch. Peace out, guys. Holla!